Up and speak to the board. We don't have anyone signed up. If so, if you'd like to speak to the board, you can come up to the podium, ask your name, and tell us what you have to say. No one coming forward. We're going to move on to C1, resignation of District 3 School Board member. I'm going to read the letter that we received from Mrs. Heim. I'm writing to formally resign from my position on the Huntington County Community School Board effective today, October 28, 2025. This was received on that day. It has been an honor to serve our students, families, and community alongside such a dedicated group of individuals. I am grateful for the opportunity to have contributed to the important work of supporting our schools. Thank you for your understanding and for the collaboration and support I've received during my time on the board. I wish the board continued success in its mission to serve our school district. Sincerely, Carrie Heim. I would entertain a motion to accept Mrs. Heim's resignation.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Any questions or discussion before we vote? Let's vote on the motion.
And I apologize, Board Docs is having a glitch, so we don't have a scoreboard this evening. But the vote on the motion is to accept the resignation, 5-0.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 5-0. I would like to just say that I'd like to thank Mrs. Heim for her efforts on this board. It takes a lot of courage to run for public office. I hope she understands her involvement helped Huntington County Community Schools continue to move forward. The board will continue that work. We wish her and her family all the best. Anyone else like to say anything? We will move on to D1 2025 through 2027 HCCS HCTA contract. Mr. Trout.
Yes, after a few long months of work by both sides, happily this evening, I am sharing with you the results of our tentative agreement. As you know, we held a hearing on this a week ago tonight and about this, but I just want to remind the public again of the specifics of this. The details are the following. The beginning teacher pay will be moved to $45,000, and the top of the scale will move to $76,250. The raise level on the current salary scale is $2,500. Returning teachers will move up one step to honor their favorable performance, which is $1,250. So returning teachers will add that together, will receive a total of $3,750. New hires will be hired in on the scale based on their years of experience, and teachers currently at the top of the scale will receive a $2,500 base increase. To also meet the requirements of the law this year, there's an illiteracy endorsement of $100 on the base. So this makes the average for year one of the agreement with the HCTA at 6.02%. We were able to also come to an agreement for year two. That will maintain the 2025-26 salary schedule. Returning teachers will move up one step to honor their favorable review, which is $1,250. Teachers at the top of the scale receive a $1,500 one-time stipend. The previous literacy endorsement teachers will still maintain $100 on the base, and any new qualifying teacher who earns the literacy endorsement will receive $100 on the base also, which makes the average for year two at 2.07% increase. This increase will take place, as you know, Board, we have two regular pays on December the 5th and the 12th, or excuse me, December the 5th and the 19th. There'll be a separate payroll on December the 12th this year for back pay or a stipend. I just want to say thank you to the HCTA. We don't always agree, but what I liked was the mutual respect across the table that we have grown into over the last 4 years. Board, we've made a commitment. If you remember, a few years ago, when I first came on, we were considerably under the pay for teachers in this area. And then henceforth then, we were losing a lot of highly qualified people to teach our students. I don't have to tell you, as valuable as our principals are and as valuable as our classified staff are, everybody in this room would tell you who really, truly impacts students every day are those teachers in front of that classroom. And to the three of you sitting in the crowd, I sincerely say thank you. You have my utmost respect for what you do each and every day. I am so happy that we've got this salary schedule to a place where we're competitive, and if nothing else, a little bit ahead of the game so we can attract highly qualified people. And you are to be commended for who you are and for what you do for our kids each and every day. Board, I say to you, thank you. You have positioned this district well. You have placed us in a position financially where we're able to do this. Yes, the years are going to be lean coming forward, but you'll notice that stipends are built in, not so that we remain and maintain our flexibility moving forward. Future boards will have some serious decisions to make, and I appreciate your steadfast interest and leadership in our budget. As you know, every month we give you the details of that, and you have positioned this district well so that we can truly impact those teachers in our classrooms. So, Mr. Allen, I'm recommending your approval for these increases.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. I'm going to pause for a moment and allow our board member to get himself settled in, and get logged in here, and you can join our meeting. Good. You're in. All right, I will entertain a motion. I reference the teacher's contract.
Recommend approval of the 2025 through 2027 HCCS HCTA contract as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Any questions or discussion or comments before we vote? Mr. Trout, thank you so much for your work on this. Hearing none, we will vote on the motion.
Mr. Allen, the vote on the motion is 6-0 in favor of approving the contract.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. Moving on to D2. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Would anybody like to speak? Go ahead. Thank you.
My name is Mandy Barnum. I'm co-president of HCTA. This is at a weird level, sorry. I'm here with, come on up here, John Bordeaux, who is our vice president. And I'm here with, I forget your last name. Dave Harvey. I was like, sorry. We would just like to extend our thank you to HCCS and administration and school board for working so diligently at providing a contract that continues to honor teachers and the hard work that we do in our community. We acknowledge that this was no small task as our state legislature continues to divert funds away from public schools. Regardless, our leaders recognize the need to keep our pay competitive in order to continue to attract and maintain top-notch educators. Thank you again for working with us to continue to build Huntington's bright future.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item D2, recommendation for compensation of administrative employees. Mr. Trout.
Okay, Board, what I'm seeking for you tonight is a one-year approval for an agreement with the administrators with a base, on talking about base and stipends. I want to say that I'm not in the position where I feel comfortable at this point of making a two-year recommendation to you. That is not to mean that these fine people do not deserve that, but what I'm concerned is that by running the projections for year two currently, I want to maintain and leave you a lot of flexibility. I think we could possibly do even better next year than what I could do for them this year. And so with that, I'll be recommending a one-year increase for them. It is recommended that this recommendation includes a 2% base salary increase and a one-time $1,250 stipend for 2025-26. These adjustments result in an average compensation increase of approximately 4.5% across the administrative group. This action is intended to recognize the continued leadership, performance, and contributions of the administrative team in advancing the mission and goals of the district. You know, Jay and Chuck, a couple months ago, shared with you some fascinating statistics on academic achievement and performance. This is no small task without teachers and administrators working side by side to make this happen. And so for that work, I am incredibly glad and for what the work that they're doing. Please also understand that this recommendation also includes a renewal of two-year contracts for every administrator. As you've heard me say recently, the continuum that we're able to do, because in whole we've kept this team together. And we have a great team and people that I'm enormously proud of. And so I proudly recommend to you this increases that I described to you today.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. I'll entertain a motion in reference to the compensation for administrative employees.
Motion to approve the compensation for administrative employees as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Melcher. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Any questions or discussion before we vote?
So just to clarify in my head, because I want to make sure we're talking about it, we're giving them a raise for year one. We would bring back year two at another date, but the contract will be extended for 2 years?
Yes.
Okay, just want to clarify.
Yes, we would bring back probably late summer, very early fall, once that we have a better read on if the numbers change or not. Depending upon what day you listen to the news will determine what they're going to do in this short session. I want to take advantage of that possibility, and so please understand that the only reason that I am putting this off for now is that we will come back for not only this group but the classified also hoping that we have some better results. I'm comfortable with I'm not even really comfortable with what we could offer this year from the sheer standpoint of, I just want to make sure that I clearly know what the numbers are next year. And by doing so, I think we're being fiscally responsible moving forward in that process too. That is, like I said earlier, that's no indication of how I feel about the value they bring to the team. Matter of fact, it's just the opposite of that. I hope we could do a little bit more than what I could do right now today.
That would also put us past the short session that's coming up, not only the special session, but the short session.
Yes.
So we'll have a lot better view, too.
Yes, yes.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Let's vote on that motion.
Mr. Allen, the vote on the motion is 6-0 to accept the compensation as presented.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. Moving on to D3, recommendation of compensation for classified employees.
Board, what I'm seeking for this evening is your approval. This sounds very similar to the previous two groups that I've talked to you about today. The base salary increases for this group would be 2% on the base, plus an $800 stipend for 260-day employees and a $500 stipend for all other classified employees. On average, please understand that I'm speaking in averages like the first two groups, we're looking, it equates to about a 5% increase in salary. And so I've specified that for you in the board packet. Just a reminder to you, they will follow the same pay schedule that I described earlier with the teachers, and so will administrators. So this will be the special pay on December the 12th. So I'm recommending your approval of these increases.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. I'll entertain a motion, reference this compensation for classified employees.
Make a motion to approve the compensation for classified staff as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Any discussion or questions before we vote? Hearing none, we will vote on the motion.
Mr. Allen, the vote on the motion is 6-0 to accept the compensation for classified employees as presented.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. We move on to D4, school bus contracts for the 2025-2026 school year.
Much like the administrators and the classified people, we're offering a one-year increase this year, again, with the idea of coming back to you late summer, early fall for that. What I am recommending for your approval today is a $500 stipend for all drivers and bus assistants. I think it's important to remind our community that 2 years ago, there is a radically different pay scale for our bus drivers. Again, we were losing some really talented people to neighboring districts because we were not compensating at the level that they could go someplace else. And so if you remember, a couple of years ago, we radically changed the pay schedule for them. Please know that they have a scale which is a little different than the other employee groups. So their years of experience, they get credit for that and move up that schedule also. So their increases are built into their salary schedule. And so you're aware of what all those increases were a couple years ago within that. So I'm recommending your approval of these details. Just to say to you, we're not changing the scale. Okay, so I don't want people to think that we're moving the scale down. We're actually keeping the same scale. If the community wants to know that, it ranges from $26.25 an hour to $33 an hour. And it's working because we have attracted a few drivers over the last couple of years, and we're one of the few places that's not canceling routes on a daily basis. And so to Vanessa Fields and her team and then the drivers as a whole, I'm very proud of them and what they do, so I'm recommending your approval for these increases.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. I'll entertain a motion, a reference to school bus contracts for the 2025-2026 school year.
Motion to approve the school bus contracts as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Melcher. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Any comments or questions before we vote? Hearing none, let's vote on the motion.
Mr. Allen, the vote on the motion is 6-0 to accept the bus contracts as presented.
Thank you, thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. I would just like to say thank you to Mr. Trout and the work that's been done to make sure we can compensate these people that help our school. It is very important, obviously, and mentioning that we are able to not have to cancel bus routes is definitely a huge advantage. A lot of school corporations are really struggling with their transportation, and it's a big deal. And I'm really proud of this effort.
Well, this was a team effort, to be frank with you. Mrs. Smith has done yeoman's work in this area. I also want to thank Dr. Diggets, Candace Priest, Tyler Haskell, who also sat on this team with us and helped us through all of these deliberations with the teachers and with their help with these other groups. So we are blessed with an outstanding team of people that came alongside and helped us through this process. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. We'll move on to D5, HNHS head coaches contracts 2025-2026. I think that's Mr. Brimberry, maybe, or Mr. Trout.
It can be either one. Go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
Mr. Allen and school board, what you have in front of you that you received in your board packet is a modest change. Mr. Wiley has reviewed. It's an addendum to their current contracts that allows for their contracts to roll 1 year unless identified by June 30th each year. You've seen that also in previous other contracts in different corporations. One of the reasons I'm so excited what I hear from our teachers tonight, what I hear from the administrative, and I would also include a very stable, supportive, and progressive board, is you have to keep all key stakeholders in place for a highly successful school system, and there's a lot of prongs to that. The three coaches that we're talking about tonight are program builders, but they're better people than they are coaches, and they are highly successful coaches statewide in some of their accomplishments. I'm very, very proud that Mr. Trout has brought this forward to say we want to keep our key stakeholders in place, we want to keep the teachers in the classrooms, and we want to keep our administrative team in place. And so this is another step, and Mr. Wiley has reviewed. Again, it would allow their contract to roll 1 year unless notified by June 30th each year. And I highly recommend this, along with Mr. Trout, to support these three gentlemen for the stability of our programs and our school system.
Thank you, Mr. Brimberry. Mr. Trout, do you have anything to add?
No, we've worked very hard to put these three individuals in place, and even though Mr. Andrews is new with us, I think the work of Coach Thompson and Coach Exbach speaks for itself. And so this is our way of showing them a commitment that we have to them and our program. There's specific language in there that gives you as a board, Mr. Branberry, Mr. Markham, some flexibility in that also. And so please understand that that language is also there, but what a strong message to these three individuals of how much we are backing them for what they're doing in their programs. Please note that they would also receive the same increment increase as would the teachers during this point in time too. So I just want to make that clear. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. I'd entertain a motion, reference these head coaches' contracts.
Motion to approve the 25-26 Huntington North High School head girls basketball, head boys basketball, head football coaches contracts as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Melcher. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Any discussion or questions before we vote? Hearing none, we will vote on the motion.
Mr. Allen, the vote is 6-0 in favor of accepting these three head coach contracts as presented.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. We move on to D6, Personnel Report.
Yes, board, in your personnel report, there is a cross-section of staff members that fit into two categories. One of those categories are some corrections that we have made on a few staff members. When I was reviewing job descriptions, talking to our directors and such, you'll notice that I have listed, one of those is Vanessa Fields, the transportation director. And so that is one director that I'm recommending that we make a correction on. The other group of correction of rates, there are just a few people there when, again, reviewing job descriptions and even how their jobs have changed over the last 2 years. I went back and compared that to individuals in our group, and so I'm recommending those changes also. And you can see the hourly rate that's there listed on the side. The last group that I have here is our business team out of our central office, including Mrs. Gray. As you know, we have been two significant staff members down since July. And what these people have done is incredible. To say that they have picked up extra work would be a significant understatement. What these people have done in order to help our school district continue to run highly effectively and efficiently, I am incredibly grateful for each and every one of them. You'll notice that the stipends there ranges from $6,000 down to $500. The one $600 stipend, just to be clear, is for Ms. Priest, who has basically been doing 2 jobs since July. The hours that she has been spending above and beyond the call of duty is incredible. That's not taking away anything that the rest of the team has done, because without Mr. Haskell, without Mrs. Gray, Mrs. Eckert, Mrs. Nelson, and Mrs. Woost, none of this is what we're at today would have happened. And so I'm extremely proud of our business office team. I want to personally say publicly thank you. We are close. We are interviewing this week for the assistant for payroll and HR, and our interviews continue with CFO, and right now I'm extremely encouraged by that process. So hopefully when we come to you on November the 24th, we have 2 names for you for those positions, and it is my goal and hope that we are back to full strength on this team. So I'm recommending your approval of this personnel report.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. I'll entertain a motion, reference this personnel report.
Motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Melcher. I'll take a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Any questions or comments before we vote? Hearing none, we will vote on the motion.
Mr. Allen, the vote is 6-0 in favor of accepting the personnel report as presented.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Vote passes 6-0. In my haste to thank Mrs. Heim for her work on the board, I missed an important guest we have, Mr. Wiley. If you would come up and share the timeline that we have for replacing the empty board seat.
I wasn't going to let you finish without seeing I was
I
here.
seen you fidgeting.
Wavy. In my years doing this, we have been down this path before for various reasons. So we do have a policy in place. There's also Indiana statute in place that tells us how we are to fill this position. Step one is that upon receipt of the resignation letter is to be delivered to the clerk of the court, and the candidate, the person's supposed to do that, but then they can also authorize us to do that, and that's what's occurred. So Mrs. Gray will deliver that letter to, or Mr. Allen, one of you, deliver it to the clerk tomorrow. That starts a 30-day period for filling the vacancy. We're running up against holidays, we're running up against lots of other issues, so it's a tight schedule, but it's a possible schedule that we can comply with. Applications will be available starting tomorrow morning at the Administrative Center or online at the HCCSC webpage. This is the same application that we used earlier this year when Mr. Roth resigned last December, and we used to fill the position. The completed applications are due by November 14th, Friday at noon. Names will be vetted for residency. These are only open to a resident of Jefferson, Rock Creek, Salamone, and Wayne townships in Huntington County, the south, basically. The south 3 and up to...
Those are the ones that essentially make up District 3.
Right. That's the voting district and the residency district. The last time, in January of this year, we had, I think we interviewed 6. We had 13 or 12 apply, but several of them did not meet the residency requirement. It wasn't a judgment of their abilities, it's just they didn't reside in the district. So similarly, we will do that same vetting to make sure that whoever applies lives within District 3. Those applications will be then distributed to the board members, and the candidates' names will be announced to the public. On Monday, November 24th, after the regular board meeting at 6 o'clock, and it's a special start time, the interviews will be held basically, hopefully starting at 7:30. We will do this the same as we have before. With your approval, I will moderate. We'll have a series of 5, 6, 7 questions that will be given to each candidate. They will be allowed, or they can answer those questions. We'll do a random draw of who goes first, second, third, fourth, however many we have. It's an open meeting. It will be streamed. It will be open to the public, so anyone can witness that and see what the answers to the questions are. We will take a vote then after that, and the new trustee would be sworn in at that point. This is, since you're down to 6, it will require 4, obviously, votes. In other words, a 3-2-1 vote on the first ballot will not elect a member. We have a policy in place that I shared with you last time. I don't think I've shared with you yet, but did I say that wrong? Is Polk Township in this? Okay, well then I said that wrong. So note that. It does swing up into Polk Township. Polk, Wayne, Jefferson, Salamone, and Rock Creek. Train of thought.
Back to
You were talking about
Number of votes. Thank you, Mr. Verber. 3-2-1 on the first ballot will not elect a member. Our policy would say anybody that has 0 would be eliminated, and then 1 would be, until you get down to just 2 candidates, and then you'd have to have 4 votes to elect. If it's 3-3, and it's 3-3, and it's 3-3 eventually, and you have the right not to make a decision, but if you do not make a decision, and the 30 days expires, then the judge of the Huntington Circuit Court would appoint somebody to this position. And he could, it's Davin Smith, he could do whatever procedure he would want to do that. So there are some reasons that we want to get this done timely and within the time frame. And as I said, the Thanksgiving causes some issues, but we don't want to go into December and make sure we're within the time frame. So that is the broad announcement tonight. Again, applications are available. Cindy, we need to amend the application to include Polk Township. You know what? It does say Polk Township on the application.
You were better than you thought.
I'm not, yes, I did say Polk Township.
For those interested, this map that Cindy is just showing is on our HCCSC website under school boards, just so if you want a clarification and see that. Mr. Carl was also noting that it's on GIS, but the information about who the board member is a little outdated. We'll work on getting those all updated once we have a new person in that position.
Yeah, right.
All right. Any questions, comments?
So Tim, on the 24th, just so we're clear, our board meeting is going to be at 6.
Correct.
Which is different than
Right.
what we had initially said, and then this will take place afterwards.
Afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
Right. And even if we finish the board meeting at, like, say, 6:45, we still will not start until 7:30.
Oh, okay,
All
all
right.
right, thank you.
I don't want whoever is going to be involved to think, okay, I can be here at 7:30 and we're done, so.
We'll give them, obviously depending on the number.
Right.
We'll give them a time, 7:30.
Yeah.
Well, except we do the draw before we start, so they all need to be here
Yeah.
at 7:30.
Like you said, depending on the number, if we have everyone here, that would obviously allow us to move forward, but I don't want to, I just want everybody to know that the plan will be to start at 7:30 unless we have all the candidates here ready to go.
All right?
Thank you, Mr. Wiley.
Thank you for including me.
I almost blew it. Alrighty, we will move on to E1 HCCS 2026, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29 calendars. Mr.
Yes, Mr. Allen, the board, the calendar committee, which is made up of administrators and teachers from throughout the district, have met on multiple occasions over the last, oh my gosh, year, I would say we're approaching, looking through these calendars, making sure that we are meeting the requirements of the law, et cetera, et cetera. When you look at these calendars, you're going to have to study them carefully because they look very similar to the ones that we have done before in the past here, most recently. They follow the same process that we have done before. The only significant change that I think that you will see in these calendars are due to when the last day of school is completed, the graduation date moves up 1 week from traditionally where we have been, which means that graduation will still be on a Sunday, but it will not be on Memorial Day weekend. It's just how these calendars fall. And so Dr. Daggett has been in conversation with several teachers and members of his team there at the high school, and they actually recommended this. And so we are going with that. The second one is a little different, and I know we've had some conversations up here, is that the 30-minute delays have caused great confusion on the first day of school. So what you will notice is that we kept the 30-minute delay on the first day of school because this year we had students come to the bus stop 30 minutes later than normal, and it was more than just a few. And so in working with transportation, we just felt it was best that if it's a Wednesday, it's a 30-minute delay, regardless if it's the first day of school or the last day of school, that we stick to that because there was some confusion about that this year. So it's a Wednesday, it's there. Board, as always, you can accept these, you can have us go back to the drawing board, you can do whatever, but we are starting to receive several phone calls with people asking, when is fall break next year? When is whatever break next year? Because people are already making their plans, and so we want to make sure that we get these out and posted ASAP. But as always, you can recommend any changes with these that you want. So, Mr. Allen, I'm recommending your approval of these school district calendars.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. I'll entertain a motion, reference the calendars.
Motion to approve the 26, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29 HCCS calendars as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Melcher. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Any questions or discussion before we vote? I'd just like to say, I got a few phone calls as well and a couple of texts about the fall break next year. So, I appreciate your efforts. I know that this is quite a task, so appreciate that.
I know when we moved graduation to Memorial Day, it was basically because of athletics and stuff. So there's no fear of athletics being on that.
Yeah, when I talked to Dr. Daggett, he was comfortable with these dates for these Sundays, for these graduation dates. I trust Russ and his staff. I ask a lot of questions too, but this was their recommendation that we do. So thank you, Matt.
I do think being on a Sunday then hopefully gets rid of those type of conflicts, but the conflicts that I were hearing on Memorial Day was just the race, this is a good one. Anything else? Let's vote on the motion.
Mr. Allen, the vote is 6-0 to accept all three calendars as presented.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. Move on to F1, professional leave request. That'll be Mr. Trout.
Yes, Board, we just have one. We'd like to send Mr. Humphreys to the HEC conference, which we learned of the date, so I'm just recommending your approval of that leave.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. I'll entertain a motion, reference this request.
Recommend approval of the professional leave request as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote on the motion.
Mr. Allen, the vote is 6-0 to approve the professional leave request as presented.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. Moving on to G1, items of discussion by board members. Anyone have something they'd like to add?
I just wanted to call out and publicly praise Mr. Butler for the article he wrote about HCCSC in the ISBA Journal that came out recently. If you have not had a chance to read it, he did a good job talking about HCCSC and did a good job. And I've heard that there will be some additional copies showing out so other people can see the wonderful work and show off the wonderful things that we're doing here at HCCSC.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Yes, Mr. Butler's abilities at branding our school corporation is really important and incredibly impressive. Anything else? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to H1, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. McClellan.